Kicking this bad boy off, brother Hubie.
Originally, it must be time for mind types after dark.
It is indeed Mind Types After Dark. I know it's probably fully dark where you are, just about dark where we are. So yeah, all good.
Exactly. And it's full moon time. And do you know what this particular moon is called?
A red blood moon, blood moon.
It's a blood moon, but it's a specific type of blood moon.
Oh yeah, what is that?
It's the worm blood moon.
Why is it called a worm blood moon before I look it up on AI and press it?
Teresa and I were talking about it. We were thinking it must have something to do with gardening or something like that, but I actually don't know why it's called the this full moon is called the worm blood moon.
Huh. So, and tell us when it's going to happen.
It's happening right now.
I thought it wasn't until later tonight.
Well, I'm 1 hour ahead of you, but it's 5 o'clock somewhere. Speaking of 5 o'clock somewhere, cheers.
So I just want to let you know that
Hmm.
the reason why it's called a worm blood moon is
Yeah.
because historically it's when the ground begins to thaw and earthworms start to emerge from the soil, signaling the start of spring. It's rooted in an old farmer's almanac and the folklore that exists out there. And I am really smart
See, folks,
because
this is yes, because what?
because I have these tools that are like super ridiculous that you can
See,
find out stuff in like 5 seconds. If you can find out as fast as you can type how what stuff is if you know which tool to go to and you happen to have another computer open on that tool. Just saying.
see, there you go. So, folks, there's a saying making the rounds now, and it's so true. AI is not going to take your job, but somebody using AI is going to take your job. So
Yeah.
get with the program.
No, and I think we could kick it off with a little bit of a case study here, because what happened with this one client that we have, and I'm just carefully making sure that none of the employees of that client are on this call right here, is so crazy because this is what's possible. They don't pay you for how long it takes you to do something or how difficult something is. You get paid for the result that you generate, however you generate it. In other words, the marketplace is going to pay you what you're worth based on the output that you deliver. And this is where we really have to start shifting our mindset. Because if you really embrace this, then the key is what are the tools that can massively accelerate our output? So a couple of weeks ago, one of our legacy clients and some of the members of that group uh, uh, often attend masterminds because I've invited them to do so because they've over the years paid us a lot of money. Um, Pinged us with a simple contract. And it was one of those contracts I was like, man, I don't really want to take this contract. It's not a lot of money. They only have X in a budget. They acquired a company and they wanted to help us to help them redo the presentation of the company. Okay, this sounds like and if you calculate your hours, however you want to calculate your hours and what you're worth for that time. But in my case, if we're not in the $400 to $500 an hour range, it's just not worth it. It's just one of those like, I'm sorry, but go find somebody else. Of course, it's a legacy client, so we got to take care of them, right? So we go back and forth, and it's basically they want us to create a presentation that's approximately 12 slides long using limbic messaging that exposes the story of the new company that they just acquired, right? And so we went back and forth a little bit. I was pushing for a little bit of higher price, didn't work out, and they ended up saying, "Okay, this is our budget." And I said, okay, fine. We're going to do this. We're going to help the client no matter what. We love this client. They're great, et cetera. We're going to do what we can to help them. So we'll do it. And because of having worked with this client, there was already a lot of knowledge institutionalized. And when the knowledge is institutionalized, that immediately for everybody on this call that's been around for a minute or two should be agent, AI assistant. What knowledge base can we create here? What does that look like, et cetera? How fast can we create a knowledge base that can give us an output that we really want? So the client, and by the way, this is a big company. They do north of 150 million a year in revenue. So they're up to 1,400 employees. So it's, not a small shop. And the CEO is like, Ridgely, you guys are the Limbic guys. I need you to do the Limbic thing with these guys and give us a presentation that's Limbic. And they sent us a PDF. I'm not even kidding. Like this new company does not even have a PowerPoint. All they had is a PDF. It's old school, northern, up in Canada, hanging out in the boondocks of Ontario, whatever. And they didn't even have, they didn't even do their sales pitches with a PowerPoint. They only had a PDF. So all we got was a PDF, end of story. Take this and make us a PowerPoint presentation like the ones you've made for the mothership company, that's very cool and blah, blah, blah. Okay. So this is interesting. And now, we're going to get on the phone with the head of PR and the other person, and we're like, oh, so you guys never do PowerPoints and you don't do presentations and everything's old school. We're going to show up like the good old boys wearing boots and galoshes, trudging through the snow and make these. Okay, craziness. However, we have AI, right? So if the boss who has sent us a lot of money over the years, who I have deep respect for and appreciate, call him a friend, um, says we want limbic messages, you know what? We got limbic messages. So I'm going to go through the first part, Hubert, then I'm going to turn it over to you for the second part of how you can, if you really use these tools and can embrace the concept that they're so much faster than you are and so much more effective than you are, that A, you can really serve a client, you can do a better job than you be able to do on your own in a fraction of the time, meaning that it's better for the client and it's better for you. It's a complete win-win situation all around if you know how to use the tools. So we're going to do some show and tell stuff here that I think is going to be very interesting to observe what we did and what the client wanted and how we were able to serve the client at warp speed. And that's one of the things that I think is really important to recognize. This is a huge company, right? So this company is doing, 10 to $15 million a month in revenue. And when you have a big company like that, what you're not expecting is anything to happen fast. What you're expecting is that things are going to happen slow. A week goes by and this happens. And then another week goes by and this happens. And then another week. Not so with AI. So I want to share a couple things here for as we go through this. So first, I want to share that what we have at the bottom here is, okay, we're going to create this limbic messaging. And if you see it's, please review this, requested messaging change, another change, another change, another change, another change from the period of March 7th to today. So from March 7th to today, we were able to make 5 different requested changes from the client to us, giant corporation to us. You never get that in the real world unless it's powered by AI. In the real world, they request a change, that's a week. Another change, that's another week. Another change, another week. Or it would have been 5 weeks instead of 5 days or 7 days, to be fair. So I want to share the beginning of the limbic messaging piece and how you can use these tools. And then I'll turn it over to Hubert for what he did, which was even way more brilliant than me, which is not unusual, by the way. Here we go. So here at the very top, I went to ChatGPT and I input all the data already and got them to say, who is this company? Well, they're a full service company based in Ontario, blah, blah, blah. Their comprehensive ranges of service include electrical, heating, plumbing. They're a multi-trade company, by the way, that was acquired by our client. Team Group. Some of you have been around for a long time, have seen us work things for Team Group on these masterminds. And then I said, okay, great. Now, based on what you know about the business, create for each of the categories limbic messaging. And so we created literally a ton of messages initially. And then we said, well, wait a second. Now break it down in the range of services and give me a bunch of messages. So we had 80 limbic messages broken down by category, etc. So electrical, so they're the categories, you deserves, etc. I mean, there's way too much here, right? So we
Well,
went from there.
so a word about
Fantastic.
that.
Now,
A word about that. Just a quick teaching moment.
great.
There's a couple of sessions ago, I mentioned a technique, a prompting technique called chain of thought, and that's the current best practice now. And ChatGPT and the other AI engines do a much better job when you ask it to do each step before continuing on. Meaning, we originally asked for 20 limbic statements in each of the categories, which resulted in a whole bunch. Then he said, select the top 6 or whatever it was. That's going to
Correct.
get you a better result than if the query was create 6 for each category. Because
Yes.
when it
I
goes
went
and
in there and said,
creates it,
rank these. Go ahead, sorry.
exactly. Right. And so if you tell it to say, if you straight up just say, select the 6 best such limbic statements for each one without telling it to produce them all first, it's not going to produce the same result. It's going to go and just do something magical and say, okay, here are the top 6. When you ask it to make a bunch and then tell it to select it and tell you why, then that's a whole thing. And when Ridgely and I did it, Ridgely said, okay, Hubert, I'm going to put it in there to humor you, but I don't know why we want a zillion 80 of them. Remember that, Rich?
Yes. So then what we did is we went down there to give me the rationale behind each of the messages. And then I said, okay, great. Now give me 6 of the best per category. And we went category by category: heating and cooling, number 1, plumbing, number 2, general contracting, number 3, security, number 4, uh, electrical. There we go. Done. Electrical. So let me go all the way to the bottom. And that was it. Okay. So then all I did was literally cut and paste into a Google Doc. And now I've got the general messages, electrical, heating and cooling, plumbing, general contracting, security, etc. And I'm looking like a genius for when I sent this to the client for creating dozens and dozens of messages that are all specific to each service category by using AI. So then when the client comes back to me and says, hey, we need a new category, I'm just going to share my screen again. We forgot about a category. We need one for network communications and technologies. I went back to our tool. I went through the process again and said, wait, let me get to the end of this because you'll see it's just such a thing of beauty. Oh, they needed one for control and sheet metal. That was one of the initial messages. Great. I went back in here, bam, put in we need for control and sheet metal. It took 12 seconds for this to output. I then uploaded it back into my document, right? For control and sheet metal, controls and automation, they called it here. It's the same thing. And then instantly output, sent the new content to the client, looking like a genius. Then they say, oh, we have a new division called Network Communications and Technologies. Boom, same thing, back into ChatGPT, quickly put that into the system. The system spits out the stuff right there, Network Communications and Technologies, as you can see, cut and paste back into here, polish it a tiny bit, and I get something back saying, wait a second, from the client. This was yesterday. Hey, it's more physical connectivity, fiber optics, Cat6, Wi-Fi. What do? I go back into ChatGPT and I say, wait a second. The network communication technologies in this company refers more to the physical connectivity, such things as fiber optics, category 6, and Wi-Fi. Can you please revise the group messages accordingly? Boom. There it is right there. It took 7 seconds for it to spit out, cut, paste back into the document. And now, within a matter of literally seconds, I get an email from the client. I do the work. It takes me maybe 90 seconds. I then pause and say, hold on, don't send it to him until tomorrow. It's got to look like you put at least some effort into this thing, right? I mean, but guys, are you guys resonating with this? Because it's insane what you can do if you understand the power of the tool. So it gets better. So then I get on the phone with Hubert at exactly 30 minutes before the call with the client this afternoon. And we talk about a bunch of other stuff for 8 minutes. And then I said to him, listen, bro, what are we doing? We don't have a story. We don't have anything. All we've got is this PDF and a bunch of limbic messages. And I know we've really impressed the client, but how are we going to figure this whole thing out? I mean, what are we going to? And he says, where's that presentation of the thing? And I'll let you take over from here, Huey.
Sure. So I'll pick up the story. Now, let me tell you the punchline of the story. Okay, I was just telling Ridgely this before this call. AI helps you actually do the stuff in a way that, like, most of the time is better than we can do the stuff. Okay, it's operating supposedly now at like the PhD level in every single category. Okay, so if you can beat your local PhD in whatever field, fine, that's great. Okay, but can you do it 24 hours, a day, 7 days a week, and blah blah blah, chung 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 chung? Okay, no. But my point originally was AI is doing the stuff. Your job is to tell AI what exactly to do. That's the challenge there. We're all SMEs, subject matter experts in our own category. Unless I know your niche, I can't do the stuff in AI as better than you doing the stuff in AI. So with that in the background, let me share my screen and pick up the story. So Ridgely asked me, as he just said, what do we do? Okay. And again, just to fill you guys in, this is basically the job that we've got. We had this old PDF from a trades company, and they do consulting and projects in these mechanical trades, right? And when they try to land a client, they send them literally this gigantic document, and it talks about, blah blah blah, here's our executive summary, and here's what we do, and here's our history, and here are the bosses, and all of this stuff. Okay. And all of that. So as a consultant, I know that out of all of this stuff, our job is to distill a story, right? Marketing is about telling a story. Who's S&T group, and why should you care? That's the whole story. And after this little demo here, we're going to go back and talk about the power of limbic messaging and mind types and all of that, because after all, it is mind types after dark. But let me share with you what I did with ChatGPT. I couldn't find the document, so I asked Ridgely to send it to me. I opened up a new ChatGPT. Now, I didn't, if I was ambitious enough, I would have in advance set up a custom AI assistant for this company and done all kinds of stuff or whatever, but I knew I didn't need to do that. I could just use regular ChatGPT. So I spun up ChatGPT, chose 4.0 as the model, and the first thing I did was to upload the document. Then I said, I need help with identifying and expressing the S&T company's story. Okay, so it comes and tells me this thing, and it's pretty darn good. S&T Group, a story of growth, innovation, and excellence. And basically, it goes through, reads all of that, and recaps it, and presents it here. And this is a pretty darn, good write-up, right? So then it tells me, what it picked up, and would you like any refinements? Now here,
Well,
now,
so wait. What do we do
yeah,
with that piece of data? What do we do with that first piece before we go any further?
we
We
said, I said to Ridgely, because Ridgely has spent more time with the client and actually read the material, and I didn't. I said, Ridgely, this is what AI thinks the story is. Based on what you know of the client and what you've looked at, is this making sense? And Ridgely looked at it, and Ridgely, what did you say?
I said, absolutely. And Linda says, put it in the Google Doc. And she's like, and you are absolutely right, Linda. So now here I'm taking over the screen for 2 seconds,
Okay.
right?
Yeah.
Uh, oh, hold on. Let me just go like this. Uh, what did I do? I put it into the Google Doc right there, right? So there it is, right there in the Google Doc, right here. There it is. Piece number, and keep going. So now I'm turning it back over to you.
Okay. And here's my share again. So yes, originally vetted it, and then he stuck this in the Google Doc. Okay. Now, here's where I start really prompting. Okay. So I go back to my basics because remember I'm in a regular chat and not in an AI assistant that I built. So I said, act as a marketing copywriter, right? So I knew that the job was to do some copywriting and produce a company presentation expressing the S&T story. Make it limbic, right? Emotional, and work in the following limbic statements as appropriate. And I went and I took literally all of that stuff from the Google Doc that Ridgely showed you earlier, all of these guys right here, and I pasted it in, right? I literally did a copy and paste. And by the way, just as a preview of the power of limbic messaging that we're going to talk about, okay? This latest thing here, this networking thing, when the client came back originally and said, no, we're talking about the physical stuff, the wires and the cables and the Cat 6 specifications and all of that. Who else talks about fiber optics and Cat 6 wiring in language like, we believe every connection should be fast, reliable, and built to last? Originally, you have to spend 30 seconds talking about, you can talk about the bits and the bytes and the this and the that, but in an entirely limbic way. And especially when you're in a commodity business, you're going to stand out because you're the only one expressing yourself that way.
Yeah. So give me back the screen 1 second,
Yeah.
and we'll go back to what we're looking to create here is something that is very much like this. This is what we did. And I'm gonna go to here. I'm gonna open it up on my screen. So this is the mothership company. And this is what we created, as you can see, last year for these guys. And when you go down through the company, you'll see it loads up really, really nicely. It's a beautiful PowerPoint presentation. And every time on every new page, you'll see limbic messaging at the top, the points that then become the discussion points for each issue that they want to revise. And this whole thing is a beautiful presentation that they spent a great deal of money to create. And now they want something for their new company. All these, but look at how clean this is. This is really, really good. The difference is that we didn't have last year tools at the rate that we have tools today. At Team, well, hold on, we're not going to watch the video. But you can see this is, we have all these limbic messages buried throughout here. Pillar safety, what is it? And they're all in there, all interwoven. This took months and months and months and back and forth. Now we're saying, wait a second, how do we just streamline the hell out of this? And just because because we now have much better tools. And that's where Hubert came in and said, well, look, we take all these limbic messages, let's put it in Chat GPT and see what it comes up with. I'll turn it back to you.
Thank you. Yes, exactly. Right. And so just to finish my point here, in terms about a commodity thing, like sure, everybody needs good Wi-Fi coverage, right? But when you say you deserve Wi-Fi coverage that's strong in every corner of your space, I mean, you're saying it in a way that's unique and it's limbically driven, and we'll cover more of that later. But here's what I did. I said, make it limbic and work in the following statements as appropriate. And I pasted in the whole mess, right? So I didn't even read them. I just like basically pasted it all in. And now ChatGPT comes back to me and says this. Here's a compelling S&T Group company presentation that expresses the story in a way that is limbic, engaging, and persuasive, right? So back to our point, when you instruct it, you have to tell it to make it limbic, engaging, and persuasive, right? And that's your job. So S&T Group, the power of reliability, precision, and commitment. Multi-trade leader, blah, 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 whatever. Welcome. We picture a world, so it's picking up the appropriate limbic statements. We picture a world where businesses never worry about system failures. because when your power, HVAC, plumbing, blah blah blah, whatever works seamlessly, you can focus on what matters most, blah blah blah. And then now it tells you slide by slide how to present your story. But look, interjecting the limbic messaging. Because trust matters, we stand behind every project. Slide 3, what we do. One company, total solutions. We're more than contractors, we're problem solvers. We believe in eliminating downtime, right? And so the AI is not only great at producing the limbic message, but originally it's great at mapping the right ones for the right topic. That part
Yeah.
can save you hours. Remember how we used to pour through the database of all the limbic messages per client and then try to match them up manually and then say, "Oh, Hubert, didn't we use that one already?"
Yeah. So
Right?
give
So,
me screen back here for a second. Go ahead.
yep. Okay.
Or you want to
Go
keep
ahead.
going? So check this out. I mean, this is where this gets kind of ridiculous when you're really paying attention. Hold on, let me get out of here real quick. Hold on, I got to stop sharing that. I got to get out of that presentation first, and then I can go back to the other one, which I want to share with you guys because this is where we're trying through this case study. We're saying, let us show you what you can do. So we're back over here. So now we have these I all I did was cut and paste them into the Google Doc. And there's the slides 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. There it is, 11 slides, done. The whole presentation was made between 22 minutes before the hour and about 14 minutes before the hour when Hubert and I said, I'll see you in 10 minutes, whatever. So this entire process took literally less than 10 minutes. The creation of all of the limbic messages maybe took me 15 minutes total, including all of the incarnations that the client has asked for. The only thing that has taken any time on this deal is talking to the client, which was an hour. No, not that true. Maybe 35, 40 minutes on our first call. And then today, because I had done all this, or we had done all this work ahead of time, all I said was, hey, how'd you like the messages? Great. Did you select the right ones? Great. Perfect. We'll incorporate those. We'll pop those into the slide. Hey, we did this story. We'd like you to read this and come back to us with comments. And then take a look at the slides and then, tell us if there's something that's missing, if we need more, what has to happen, etc. And a meeting that started at 14 minutes after the hour, because I timed it, was over by 32 minutes after the hour. So that particular meeting took us like 24 minutes. So at this point, we're total
And by
time.
by the way, with a fabulous outcome. So originally, tell them how the client loved this.
The client loved it. They're like, wow, this is great. Da, da, da. So total time invested so far to Hubert and I is if maybe 2 hours each, maybe. In producing something that in the past would have taken 2 weeks for an entire marketing team. Now we'll show you the ultimate, the output at the end of the day, but obviously a gig that we didn't even want is going to come in at our numbers, substantial numbers, because of the way that we're using AI to really make this work. So, any other thoughts you want to add to that?
Yes, I just want to, well, actually, I was going to do a slightly aside thing. Any further thoughts on this particular case study, Rich?
Well, the only other thing is they still need the PDF, right? So again, let me share my screen one more time. So how do you make a PDF? You make them build the PDF right here. And then when we go to build the slides, we just summarize the PDF. How are we going to do that? We're going to tell AI to take the thing and bullet it out with only 3 or 4 bullets per slide. And we're going to go click. And in 12 seconds, it's going to be done. It's going to
Exactly.
take maybe 4, maybe 5 minutes of my time to polish it up a little bit. And then boom, off it goes to get made into slides. And we're done with this gig.
Yes,
And by the
exactly.
way, this is something that all of us can do. Everybody on this call can do this. We just have to begin to think like the tool and think about things like chain prompting, like Hubert was just talking about, and staying on top of this so that you're never falling behind.
Exactly. And there's a subtle point here. There's a concept from, I don't know, 20 years ago called pair programming, where everything is done better when there's at least two of you working on something. Okay. When we have engagements like this that are not our main gig, Ridgely and I both know that it's better to set some time together where we are both free and not work on it individually until we're working on it together. Because when one of us is kind of not feeling so good about the engagement or whatever, or Ridgely says, yeah, but Hubert, what are we going to show them today? We got to show them some forward movement. And I'll say, no, I know exactly what to do. That banter back and forth between two humans gets multiplied tenfold when you each then start doing AI tools in the mix. What I'm saying is, so long as you have some critical thinking about you, so long as you're a subject matter in your own niche, so long as you're sold on the power that this approach can bring, when you have access to a mastermind like this and jump on one of our hot seats, if you get stuck, our whole community is here to help you, right? I mean, like, between the power of the tools and the power of the group of how to use the tools, you have it all covered. So originally, it's about knowing what to do, or even knowing that it can be done, right? And so I've been spending a lot of time, and this is what I wanted to show, just to complete the thought. We typically focus on the business and the marketing side, okay? But as much as AI is helping on that side, AI has become a coding tool that has made every programmer super duper more proficient and fast. So originally, and I have a project, and the magnitude of the project is such that Ridgely says to me, Hubert, you're never going to get it done in 4 weeks because I've never seen you get it done in 4 weeks. Okay. But the reason why I'm so confident is because I now use approaches like this. There's a whole, this website is built in some gobbledygook language using some stuff that, I don't care to learn. Okay. But I know looking at the code that it's in brackets like this. So I know it's called short code. So I simply go and cut and paste from the back end all this gobbledygook that normally I would have had to plow through and figure out. I simply say remove short codes from, and I paste it in. And it goes and it goes and it goes and it comes right back. And it's not even like trying hard, right? It instantly comes back with this. Here's the cleaned up version. And look, it's just a web page thing. So I just now take this. I'm having my daughter do it. She actually just puts in the shortcode, tells ChatGPT to remove it. It comes up with clean, copyable stuff, and she goes and takes this and pastes on the web page, right? And it tells you what to do. I don't have to learn Oxygen Builder. I don't even know what it is. All I knew though that it was shortcodes, and I was able to say remove shortcodes. So again, we went through and pasted in more gobbledygook, and we're not even looking at it. It's like me. I don't know anything about HVAC or whatever. I just know that I can, get AI to help me. So now it comes back. Here's the cleaned up version with all the shortcodes removed, and then here it's all website ready. So I'm copying and pasting. So originally, I know, you don't believe me, but AI is very confident that we can do this within 4 weeks. I don't have 4 weeks to wait. I'm trying to do this in 4 days. So I just wanted to share that like beyond just the fireworks, the everyday utility of AI for productivity is astounding.
Yeah, and it's just so important to understand what the part that Hubert didn't share here was that this website that we're charged with recreating, because they're basically saying we want you to take over the management of all our marketing stuff, blah blah blah, which is a big contract, signed, sealed, delivered, right? As if you've been around our mastermind for a while, we don't really do any small contracts anymore because we don't have to. So most of our contracts are 50,000 a year or more. And when we take on something and somebody's committing to that kind of money, you got to be pretty serious about what you're doing, right? So the efficiency, what he didn't share was that what we took over was a frigging dinosaur barely standing on its own legs, about to fall apart all over the
As a
place.
matter of fact, once we moved it over to our infrastructure, it did fall apart, and I had to fix it. I had to resuscitate it enough just to survive the switch over.
Yeah, and that is there's such an opportunity out there for everybody with your clients that you're working with. There's so much of their stuff that is just way outdated that in the old days you would have had to have deep expertise to figure out how to fix. Now, as Hubert just said, I don't even understand what that code is. I don't have to understand the code. I use AI. It changes the code, massages it for me, gives it back to me in a format that I need. I then deploy that content, and I come across as a genius because I can pull something off in no time at all that used to take weeks and weeks and weeks to get done. I mean, I hope this is resonating with everybody because we're not trying to show off here at all. We're trying to demonstrate the power of what these tools can do. And if you have an issue that you're working on, bring it. Bring it to the mastermind. We can sit down and talk about it and see what tool could we use, or perhaps more importantly, how could we look at the tools that we have and use them? I was having a conversation this morning because we're moving into new areas of marketing because we believe that based on the power of AI, we can become not only the leaders in our own space of marketing for our elite dental clients, but perhaps in other spaces that are related to dental marketing as well. And he was saying, this friend of mine was saying, well, I really prefer Claude to do this particular type of thing because I found blah, blah, blah. Guess what? I didn't want to correct him. He's a good buddy of mine, and he really is a great marketer also. But the reality is that's not even all that relevant anymore because as we talked about, can't remember if it was last mastermind or the one before, each of the AI tools is leapfrogging the last one. They're coming in. This one comes in at this range, and then OpenAI spends $50 billion and they pass them. And then Claude does this and they pass this. And then Gemini does this and they pass this. And each of the tools is getting smarter and smarter. So a far better use of your time is to figure out the tool that's working for you, understanding that it is getting better and better. And there's not a lot of need anymore for you to experiment with 50 different tools. You'd be better served, and Hubert, I'd love for you to comment on this, by really learning how to master the ones that you work with on a daily basis, because they're all rapidly coming up to speed and there's not that much difference anymore between this one versus that one.
Exactly. And there's something to be said about getting to know a tool in depth and, having it understand and learn your particular needs. Now, for fun, what I like to do is we have some purpose-built tools that we create using the ChatGPT OpenAI environment. For fun, when a new tool comes around, like DeepSeek and so forth, I like to take that same prompt and run it in the other engine to see how good it is, compared. And actually, when I did that with DeepSeek was actually even better, right? And so I was pleasantly surprised. But regardless of the tool, I'm just going to share my screen again. For our purposes as a group, I want you all to embrace like being able to ask for what you want. I had to write a web page about dental financing options, right? And so they were introducing this new thing, a discount plan called the wellness plan. Right? It's for families without dental insurance. And it gave me some info, and I wanted it to be more limbic and more persuasive. So what do I say? I literally say, make this more limbic and persuasive. Include a call to action to call us to learn how the wellness plan can save your family money. At Southern Smiles, we believe that everyone deserves access to excellent dental care, regardless of financial circumstances. That's why we offer flexible dental financing options through trusted partners. You can focus on keeping your smile healthy without the burden of high upfront costs. Imagine being able to spread expenses over time with confidence and ease. Our team is committed to finding the best solution for your budget. You deserve to smile without worry about cost. Pick up the phone and call us today to learn how the wellness plan can save your family money and keep everyone's smiles shining bright. So originally, I don't know about you, but when I'm tired, I can't match the turn of phrase that these AI engines can do. Like
No.
day in and day out, the quality these days has become very, very excellent.
Yeah, and so then that goes to Scott just asked a great question in the chat. He says, "Are you suggesting we can do additional work for our clients beyond our expertise because we're using AI?" And I'm saying not just yeah, but hell yeah. Like, no, I'm not. Obviously, Scott, you are a super high-end coach, and that one-to-one. So Scott is a high-end coach to top producing executive women. That's his expertise, and he's very good at it. And obviously, there's nothing that's going to replace that one-on-one thing that you do with your clients that is your magic, your special sauce, etc. But periphery stuff, why in the world wouldn't you use AI? And when you have outputs that you glean from working with a client, and you say, "Hey, what I've gleaned is this, 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 and this," pop it into AI. I'd like to have some messaging created around this for my client XYZ. Da 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 da. Type that into AI. Get some output from that. You have any concept of how much of a genius you come across to for the client when you after a session with them are able to summarize, take the content, massage it, use AI a little bit, and send it back to them saying, "Hey, I thought I'd give you a recap of our most recent call. I think some next steps might be blah blah blah." And I'm not sure that's exactly what you'd want to do, but should you be using AI? I would love for you to comment on this too. The answer is, of course, my man. Of course, you want to be able to take what you know and amplify it using AI. Hubert?
Sorry, I had to unmute myself. For sure. I don't know if Scott's willing to come on for a little quick session, but I was gonna do this originally. Look, I was gonna come to ChatGPT. I hit new chat. Cold. I'm coming in. Act as an experienced coach whose clients are top 1% women entrepreneurs. Give me an elevator pitch about how I can coach them, specifically about not feeling bad about their lack of work-life balance. Now, originally, you know me. The only thing I know about personal growth is what I learned from you, right? So this is certainly not my area of expertise, but I just wanted to see, without having a subject matter expertise of coaching high executive women, how, we can get a little crash course based on this. So originally, I don't know which one you like better, one or two, or if Scott wants to weigh in too, but let's take a look. Let's see. Look, you're not looking for balance, you're looking for alignment. I coach high achieving women to ditch the guilt, redefine success on their terms, and fully own the life they've designed. Let me see over here.
I like one better. How about
And
you,
now,
Scott? Which one do you like better? Scott,
and of
which one do
course,
you
I have no
like?
idea if
Let's hear it
Scott
from
would
the
be
expert,
interested
man.
in
I mean,
this.
I don't know.
Yeah,
Scott, just
is he
pop
on?
in the chat. Which one do you like better? We'll have some fun. If not, if you're not popping in the chat, then I'm going to
Okay.
go with
Would you like a version tailored to a specific setting, like speaking event or show? Okay, so I'm gonna say, you like one? I'm gonna hit one. Okay, now give me some talking points for a what's the name of that group that wakes up at an ungodly hour to have coffee and donuts together?
which
The
one?
they they always meet like the first Tuesday of the month at like crack of dawn. The B and business networking something. Okay,
Oh,
business
BNI?
BNI, yeah, for a BNI meeting. I don't partake because I can't get up at 6 in the morning.
Yeah, no, I think Scott's clients are sometimes really high end. But okay, so here's
Now
the intro.
the other trick that I would do then too is not knowing the niche, I would go and find out what are the authoritative books in the niche, download a copy, and then feed that into AI. And then suddenly, Ridgely, it's like I have that author of that book as a consultant on my staff. right? And so without knowing the specific, without knowing the specific um, specifics of each niche, I can tell you what I want to find in each niche and coach the person, based on that knowledge. So one of originally one of the things that we're going to do in the new edition of the mastermind is that I'm going to make myself available to individual coaching sessions one-on-one. I had promised that to Dorina last week, and I tried connecting. Dorina, I'm sorry I didn't follow up. I, lost track of after day two of our where we were. So, but in the new mastermind for sure, originally, I'm working one-on-one with everybody based on their expertise to create things like these talking points and AI
Can you do
assistants
me a
and so
favor?
forth.
Can you put into the chat,
Yeah.
um, give me a framework for, give me a framework for following up with my clients after a coaching session that will help that will help um, help them retain and move forward with all the points we discussed. And Scott, unfortunately, when we selected one, the other one disappeared, so we can't go back to that. But we can send you the output from this. Look at this. So now it's got a framework for you. Hey, subject line, quick recap and next steps. Hey, client name, I loved our session today. You're making incredible strides. I'm excited to see how you implement what we discussed. Key takeaways. Here's a quick recap of the most important insights from our session. Key takeaway 1, 2, 3, your action steps. To keep the momentum going, focus on these next steps. 1, 2, 3, reflection question. Before our next question, ask yourself a reflection question. Example, what's the biggest shift you notice in your mindset since we started working together? Support and accountability. I'm here for you. If you hit any roadblocks or need clarity, feel free to email me, send me a quick message. You've got this. Look forward to our next session on date and time. Let's build on this momentum. Sign off, cheering you on. Boom.
Exactly. Then it tells you why
I
this works.
mean,
Now,
why would we have to worry about doing this ourselves?
exactly. Now, here's the thing, the next teaching point originally. If you think having AI help you with one thing is impressive, always say, what else can I do to multiply it? So originally, now I have a template for the post coaching call. How about we open a chat session and say, use this format and base it on this AI notes file from my Zoom recording. So
Mm-hmm.
now you have the Zoom recording plus this desired layout, and the output is going to be this, but done for you.
And yeah, it's just crazy, man. I just great. I think it'd be helpful. Let me grab the screen here for a second.
Yeah,
To show just some super practical day-to-day applications of using this tool. Because if you're not in, because I think that there are a lot of people on here that come on the call and they go, "Oh my God, what you're doing is insane, people." And it's not. It's just that we know how to use the tool and we do it every day. So we work with the tool more. But let me just show you from my own chat GPT what I do on a regular basis. I'm having a conversation with my brother, and I can't remember what the stages of grief are. So what do? I go, boom. What are the four? I go into ChatGPT and I say, hey, what are the classic stages of grief? So in the process of having the conversation, it shows up right in front of me. I don't have to go looking for this and figure this out. Boom. I just have to know how to talk to the tool, right? So my wife the other day, my wife says, for our 20th anniversary, I really think we should go on a river cruise. And I'm like, okay, well, watch this. All right, so what do? What are the top rated European luxury European cruises? And they give you the links to these people, right? They give you the links, they give you all the data, all the information, etc. So she said, well, I'd like to know about which, I mean, I'd be really interested in the ones that have wine tasting and bike tours. I go, great. Which ones include wine, bike tours and winery tours? Please, people, this is day to day living stuff. Several ones produce this, da 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 da. And they go through this whole thing and they give me a bunch, whatever. And then I go, which is the top rated of all of these? And they, and how much time do you think this took me? This is minutes, just a few minutes. Among the luxury ones, blah, 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 Emma Waterways receives constant accolades, blah, blah, blah. So what did I do? I clicked on the website. I went to Emma Waterways. I signed my wife up to receive their newsletters, and now she's receiving newsletters from Emma Waterways and Uniworld Boutique River Cruises, and I'm looking like I spent a ton of time researching all this stuff, which literally took me not more than a few minutes. And she's at yoga, so she can't hear me, right? I'm just saying. I mean, and it's just endless how you can do this. I had my little sister was denied an insurance treatment that she feels like she needs. And she says, can you help me figure out what to do? I'm like, sure. I've been denied a medical procedure by Florida Blue. I believe I'm entitled to. We've gone through appeals process, been denied. What do I do? What are my legal remedies? Boom. Request a review, file a complaint, do the thing, yada, yada. All the data comes through. What is the most effective way to file a complaint? Boom. Do this, do this, do this, do this. This is day-to-day living stuff using AI. Is there any benefit or advantage to making an appointment with the AG versus filing a complaint? What gives me the best possible chance? Yes, there can be advantages. Do this, do this, do this, do this, do this, etc. Best strategy for maximum success. Write the complaint first, request an appointment, do this, do this, do this. Wait, well, I could have stopped there, but why would I stop there when I could say, would you like assistance in drafting a strong, compelling complaint letter? Yes. Here it is. Do this, name, thing. Here's what you do. Here's the information. Here's the yada yada. Here's the blah, blah, blah. Do you know how long it takes people to figure this out? So my sister is coming over tomorrow afternoon. I've already done all of this work. It is literally cut, paste, cut, paste, cut, paste, cut, paste, done. And something that would have taken hours and hours is going to turn into my sister and my mom are coming over together. Let me help you out. Okay, Liza, that took about 20 minutes. Let me print a couple of copies for you. Hey, mom, would you like a glass of Chardonnay?
Great.
Right? I mean, this is day to day application of using the tool. And I just wanted to go to a kind of a plebeian level because I don't use the tools at the level that Hubert does. Hubert knows a lot more than I do about this stuff, and he really understands it more. But I'm just a common dude who happens to be a copywriter who spent a good copywriter who spent the last couple of years learning from Hubert and using the tool all the time. Just keep thinking, how do I use it more? Because it's crazy what you can get done, the efficiencies that you can make happen for whatever the heck you're doing. Doesn't matter. Yubi?
Exactly. And so now the tools are so good and robust and mature enough that the basics are covered. Now, with each of our areas of expertise in the niches that we're in, and this common understanding of the value of emotional or limbic messaging, your output can be leagues ahead of your competition. And it's because we now understand what it takes to make that difference. So originally, I know that we're getting near the end here, and this was supposed to be about mind types, but I'd like you to kind of close by explaining, we kind of glossed over the value of the mind types and limbic messaging approach, especially in a commodity business where it's rarely done, of how powerful it can be to stand out. If you're in self-development and self-growth, everybody's going to be all lovey-dovey. Okay. Heart-centered messaging and marketing and all of that is kind of old hat and necessary in that space. But when you apply those principles to spaces that are like nuts and bolts, like in the case study that we showed, like people in the trades don't talk like that. And one of the big questions I asked the ladies today in our meeting originally was, how did this go? How was it received? Did the folks on the line that you spoke to think this had any value? And what did they say, Rich?
Very well received. People really embraced it, etc. And again, we're talking about people that live in northern frigid Ontario, Canada. Okay. These are old school people who seriously, they picture this in your mind. It's like so friggin' cold up there that if you leave your car outside, the bottom part of the tire becomes flat and frozen. So you're going thunk, 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 thunk as you're driving down the road. Just saying. Okay. So it works everywhere because we're all warm-blooded mammals. We travel in packs and we respond to emotional messaging. So what Hubert's talking about is what a huge edge you have if you understand limbic messaging or emotional messaging that triggers the decision-making part of the brain, which is at the heart of the brain underneath the neocortex, and you can use that in your day-to-day application of anything you're doing, you're going to get a huge advantage, especially outside of any kind of world where that's just unusual, right? So, very, very, very powerful stuff. And Scott, great comment. Thank you very much. I'm glad that we were able to help you. But for sure, man, let's just keep thinking this way. That let's just really just constantly be, all right, what else can we do? How else can I apply something? Whatever. I mean, it was super goofy. Sometimes the output is not fantastic, right? So we one of our dental clients um, just became the official dentist for the Mrs. America pageant, right? And and we're thinking, man, this is social media heaven. Like the he's a dentist and they just made him the official one of the Mrs. America pageant. So it's not Miss America, Mrs. America, married ladies, right? Um, so imagine all the beautiful, smiling people that we can put into his social media and how we can whatever. And so I'm thinking, oh man, well, I wonder we should have an official name for this guy. We should come up with something different and unique and whatever. And you go into AI and some of the names they came up with is like ridiculous. Mrs. America's premier smile architect. Really? Crowning Smiles official dentist. Really? The Mrs. America Smile Authority. Really? Crowning Glows official dentist of Mrs. America. Some of that's just ridiculous, right? I mean, so you can also have the capability of coming up with stuff that is just ridiculous and bogus, but that's okay. It's you never have to worry about the blank sheet syndrome where you don't have any ideas for marketing, you don't have any ideas for new names. I didn't like any of the ideas, by the way, that it came up with so far, but I only spent 17 seconds on it. So if I put maybe 3 or 4 minutes into the deal, maybe I might be able to come up with something better. I just want to point that out because that idea that, oh, I can't think of any new concepts or I'm not able to come up with no, that just doesn't work anymore. You have a tool that has eradicated that from your vocabulary from this point forward.
Exactly. And how about spending like 5 seconds saying, "Hey, I didn't like these. Can you give me some more and make them more, image rich and using, alliterations in the name," right? So brainstorm with it. So originally, great art comment here from Dr. Art, and I want you to close with this. Dr. R said 4 days this week with Jay Abraham about partners. This session, mastermind session, and that he's talking about tonight with us, is a great addition for implementation tool review. Rich, please give the good folks here your share about what we learned from Jay Abraham about the idea of being preeminent in your field, in your niche. And with AI, you can definitely do this. But what's his theory of preeminence or the effect of it?
That you're just so good at what you do that you stand out above all else. And AI can help you do that, right? So oh, here we go. We got some cool stuff over there. Also, so can we, as we're wrapping up this, have a little fun here for a second here?
Yes, for sure. For
Okay,
sure.
so
And by the way, before you do, I just want to acknowledge Joel. His comment is exactly right. You have to be careful using the information provided by ChatGPT, making up false references and things like that. It's very eager to please, especially some of the more smaller models and some of the earlier models. It's so eager to please that sometimes it used to make stuff up. We have not found that to be the case much anymore with our prompting techniques and ChatGPT 4.0. But yes, Joel, we get your point.
So I just said take some of the title suggestions for our client, the dentist, and incorporate the warm blood moon theme because it is tonight, right? So, right? So, just have a little fun, right? So here are the new possibilities for our dental clients. See if you think you'd like any of these. The warm blood moon smile maestro. I don't know about that one. Crowning smiles under the warm blood moon. Right? The official dentist to the Warm Blood Moon Queens. Warm Blood Moon Smile Ambassador. So can we go off the rails using AI? Just want to show that you absolutely can, but that's not the point. The point is to figure out how to use this in a way that serves you and be smart about it, okay? All right, Hubert, go ahead. I know what you're doing.
Oh, no, no, no. I want you to tell the good folks when the next meeting is. Then I'll come back with a closing dad joke.
Okay, so our next meeting is next Wednesday at 2 o'clock Eastern time. Next Wednesday, 2 o'clock Eastern, which is 11 Pacific, so 2 o'clock Eastern. And yeah, I look forward to seeing everybody then. Okay, what do you got here?
Exactly. All
I'm
right.
sorry,
Thank you,
Shining
everybody.
Bright,
Okay.
the official dentist of the Warm Blood Moon. Okay, fine. I'll shut up.
All right. There you go. All right, Ridgely. Speaking of the moon, I have one. I have two for you. One is about the moon. Why is the moon always so hungry? Why is the moon so hungry?
Something about cheese. What?
Oh, well, that would be good too, because it's only full once a month. Now here's one that's truly one of my favorites, Rich. What did the janitor say when he jumped out of the closet? What did the janitor say when he jumped out of the closet?
What?
Supplies.
Oh my God. Okay. That actually is kind of funny. Okay. I like that. Jim says
Jim,
steak.
nice
I
to
don't
see you.
blame you, Jim. I don't blame
Jim
you,
said
brother.
sick. Jim said sick. I think that's a diagnosis.
All
Thank you,
right,
Joel.
guys.
Joel says good job. Thank you all. All right,
Have
thanks
a
for
great
attending,
rest of your
everybody.
week. Have a great rest of your week, everybody. We'll see you next Wednesday. Oh my God. All right. Ciao for now, everybody. Bye. Oh, yeah, yeah.